Lakers, they showed what they can be with LeBron active, with Reeves making motion happen as a tertiary option. Like, they showed what they can be when they dominated the Nuggets a few nights ago over the weekend. And that was a statement win. I think they won by like 23 points against the Nuggets, against Denver, who currently sits as a 2 seed in the West. The Lakers are a top 4 seed. They are a contender, despite what people try and have you believe. Like, they actually have the makings of a team that can compete despite their lack of depth when it comes to bigs. They're solid. They know what works for them. J.J. Redick has been an excellent tactician of trying to figure out how do I get the most out of Luka and LeBron together. And tonight, Luka Doncic is going to be all out when it comes to effort. He's going to be all out when it comes to being a ultimate killer. And I don't think he's going to be a guy that's picking his spots or being passive just because it's not in Dallas but in L.A. He's going for their throats. Jason Kidd tried to absolve himself of all responsibility of the Mavericks trade that happened in the middle of the night, and we believed him for a little bit. But I do want to, as in the latter days, in the past couple of days, there's been rumors and reports that Kidd might have been in the know before the Mavericks make the swing for Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and draft considerations, sending Luka out the door. But let's go back to what Nico Harrison, GM of the Mavericks, and Jason Kidd said at the podium, at the press conference, when they were answering for their sins of sending out the generational superstar Luka Doncic. Early February.
We kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J. Kidd didn't know about it, but J. Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know the type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey, would you like?
See, the funny part about that audio, that soundbite right there from Nico Harrison, again, that was the GM talking. Kidd is next to him. He's absolutely silent. He tried to keep out of it as much as possible. Even if the Mavericks want to convince you that the conversation with Kidd was not had ahead of them swinging for this exact deal, Nico just gave us insight right there in that statement that at the very least he was lockstep with the way that Jason Kidd processes basketball, wants to set the culture for the Mavericks going forward when it comes to hoops in their roster, and also would prefer. If Nico is that aligned, as he's saying with Jason Kidd, in his thought process about basketball and roster construction, wouldn't you think he would know his opinion on whether or not he wants Luka Doncic long term?
Probably.
Yeah.
You probably had that conversation more than one time.
Even if it was indirectly, even if it wasn't, hey, should we trade Luka to the Lakers? It was, yo, I am sick and tired of this dude. I am sick and tired of him not getting back on defense. I can't stand when he complains to the referees. I can't stand when he comes into camp overweight and takes weeks and weeks and weeks to play himself into basketball shape. I can't stand when he's a turnstile on defense all throughout the regular season and those bad habits show themselves in key playoff games for us as well. I don't think we can win a championship with this dude, right? Jason Kidd could have had those direct conversations with Nico if we are to believe what Nico just told us, that they're aligned, that they've had enough conversations where Nico knows what he thinks can be a winning culture in Dallas. And if it was Nico's decision to then send Luka Doncic out the door, then what does that tell us? That tells us at the very least Kidd was unhappy with the state of their roster as Luka Doncic was leading it, and he may have gotten his wish by this franchise-altering deal happening. So I get why they want to cover him, because he's got a team to coach. He's got fans to please. He is the front-facing guy that you want to keep in good graces with your fan base. I get why you try and cover Kidd in that stance. You know who's not fooled by that crap?
Luka
Doncic. Luka knows how Kidd feels about him. Whether that means he's heard about the conversations, he was told about them having a special meeting ahead of the trade, or hell, I mean, have you ever not known how your head coach felt about you when you were playing on a sporting team?
Those examples you mentioned, coming into camp overweight, was Jason Kidd going up to Luka saying, hey, listen, it's not me saying it, but the brass are really wishing you came in about 20 pounds lighter than you are. It's not me. It goes over top of me. Trust me. Listen, I like you at 345 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
No. He's saying you need to lose weight.
Yes.
He knows that Jason Kidd is unhappy with Luka Doncic.
Jason Kidd and Luka Doncic's relationship, at the very least, had to be strained When your superstar, when the guy that is supposed to be the pulse of your roster and the leader of your offense and hopefully not a turnstile on defense for you is doing the things he did, not just in the postseason last year, but then after you have Michael Finley having to snatch a beer out of your hand with cameras showing after your Western Conference Finals win, and you come into the next season and you're thinking, man, if you're Luka and you go to the finals and you have that kind of decrepit showing and you get embarrassed in front of the national audience and you get belittled by Brian Windhorst on TV afterwards, you must have enough fire in your heart. You must have enough grit in your system to want to wake up the next season and say, not only am I going to come in shape, I'm going to take this league by storm. I'm Luka Doncic, and damn it, this is my league. That's what the Mavericks expected to happen. Instead, they kind of got the same old Luka, which isn't even a bad thing, right? We can all agree Luka's a top 2 player in the league. Like, he's that good. He's a generational star. He's a guy you want to build your franchise around, but it's not like he was locked in Luka. He was same old Luka when he pulled up this offseason.
Yeah, they thought there was going to be a fire lit, and there apparently wasn't, or else he would not have been traded. Therein
lies the key. You got the same story out of him, just like we talked about with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Same old story with them, Jim. The confusing headlines, inaction around building a better roster, and more excuses to come. That's the third part of this whole system. With the Mavericks, they saw the same process happening with Luka Doncic, and they said, you know what, trade his ass to the Mavericks. Get me a win-now roster. The only thing they miscalculated was, well, Anthony Davis's body. Don't know how they missed that. So here we stand tonight. Luka Doncic versus the Dallas Mavericks. The Lakers and the Mavericks, who just worked out one of the, I would say, the single craziest, most shocking trades I've seen in my lifetime watching the NBA. They just worked that thing out about a month ago, and they're about to show down tonight. Here's why I say this is definitively a revenge game for Luka Doncic, and he will go off tonight. His character was questioned by the Dallas Mavericks franchise. His work ethic was questioned. His leadership was questioned. His will was called into question by that team, by the head coach, by the GM, by the ownership, whoever the hell signed off on that deal. They said, as talented as this guy is, he don't got it between the ears to make us go forward in the way we need to. When those kind of things, if you're an elite level athlete, are called into question and you get a chance to go up against said team that did so against you, how in the hell are you not even just awake for this game? I bet that dude ain't sleep last night. Like, if I'm Luka Doncic, I am a hellfire. I am raining hell on the Dallas Mavericks, and the phrase I'm using for it is, I don't care if it's in Dallas, I don't care if it's at All-Star Weekend, it is on site. It is on site for Luka. You know what on site means, C-Cat?
Yes.
If somebody tells you, maybe it's a small confrontation, maybe it was a little mix-up at the job, maybe somebody cut you off in traffic and they realized who you were, and they text you, say, yo, it's on site. Well, what would that tell you?
That means that the minute that we see each other, we're going to fight.
It's over with. No questions asked. I don't care where the situation is. I don't care if my family's with me. I don't care if President Obama and all the world leaders and President Trump, everybody's in the room, and I see you and you see me, and we make this connection, and the commissioner of the NBA could be on court side. It's on site. It's on site. We have to throw down.
It is the perfect storm because